It was awesome. I got Nacional on Saturday. I got
Okay.
Nacional, Miramar on Saturday. I got Defensor Progreso on Sunday. And I got Monday Night Soccer on Gold TV. Universitario Deportes versus Ayacucho. Liga Uno, brother. Liga Uno.
As always, it's great to see you, my friend. Great to catch up with you, and glad everyone is okay. Please be safe with the situation going on down there in Peru. And we love you very much, my friend. Be safe, and we'll catch up with you next time. Love seeing you on Thursdays because, as we always do, you come in fully loaded.
Thank you, Johnny. See you guys next week. Take care.
All right, that's Nino Torres from Gold TV. And you can get Gold TV at Fanati's, fntz.co/soccer down here. Helps you out, helps us out. You get to see our buddy Nino Torres. You get to interact with Nino in all of his games. Any game that he calls that you're watching on Gold TV, literally send him a note. Send him a note on Twitter. Like if you got him on WhatsApp or whatever, DM him, and he'll have conversations with you when he's calling the matches. And I love that. That we can have games go sideways, and we can sidetrack by having conversations about whatever we want to talk about. All right. So today we have done. Let's see. We've gone Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Training Ground, to Chattanooga, to Detroit to talk about DC United, to Lima, Peru, and now we're going to Seattle to find out what's going on in the mind of Nico Moreno and our friends at Sounder at Heart and Pulso Sports, and he's wearing the lid. He broke the lid back out. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, John? SDH family. Happy to be back on, of course, in this gorgeous Thursday to talk, I'm sure, Decision Day. We got a lot of things going on here in the Pacific Northwest, including the Mariners, of course, who unfortunately lost. We have the U20 World Cup, which Colombia also ended up they're fumbling against Argentina after dominating most of that game. But here we are, ready to talk, and of course, to answer any questions you, sir, have in line for us.
All right. So, do you want to start with the men's national team and Cristian Roldan and his 2-assist effort in the come from behind win? You want to start there?
Absolutely, of course. I would love to start talking about a player who I've been advocating to be part of this USMNT national team since last World Cup, to a point that I was attacked by the USMNT bots and trolls and fan base just because I nominated him to be part of it. It was a whole thing about, how you're going to take someone like that over a guy like Gio Reyna. No one said that, by the way. They could both go. I just happened to say that Gio Reyna was hurt at the time. And look, to be honest, and this has kind of come to fruition. I've always thought that Gio Reyna was pecho frio. A little bit of an ice block where his heart used to be. Got an ice box where my heart used to be. And that's just the way he plays the game. That is my opinion of him as a player for the national team. And Cristian Roldan is the opposite. Cristian Roldan has fire in his blood. You heard Pochettino talking about, he has all those elements of a perfect player because he has that, man. He is a team first guy. He's going to be a guy that is going to put his body on the line. He is going to do absolutely anything you ask for him. His soccer IQ is just off the charts, man. You saw it in that savvy play, right? It's a set piece. He sees that he can take that quickly. He sees the player, puts the ball perfectly, creates an assist moment to basically close that game out. He was just unbelievable, and he has been good. That's the weird part. Like, it's not about the 2 assists. He doesn't need to show in the stat sheet to be a guy that I can without a doubt tell you that is gonna be an important piece for this team, right? Because he just has so many elements to his game. He is a guy that could influence in so many different ways. Whenever you have a passer like Cristian Roldan, whenever you have a guy that is as defensively sound as Cristian Roldan, you are getting someone that, regardless of what the game is giving you, he's going to provide you what you need, right? If you need to hold the lead, if you need to go and chase a goal. I mean, the versatility of Cristian Roldan is what makes him, to me, such a important piece for this USMNT national team. But as a 6 particularly, he's diversified his game so much, right? He obviously is more than willing to just cover space and win duels and defend. But in transition moments, he is your link up guy. He's someone that's having breaking through passes. He's someone that is going to make the right runs. He's the guy that's going to occupy spaces. He's the guy that's going to free other players. I mean, the guy is just all time. So I was happy to see him in this game give the U.S. national team fans what they want, and it's just to get on the stat sheet, right? That's because that's always what makes a good or bad player. Can you score a goal, whether you are a defender or a goalkeeper? How many goals does he have? I mean, he's a goalkeeper. Why are you asking about goals, right? The same thing when it comes to Cristian Roldan. That is not what he needs to do. But I'm glad that he got on the stat sheet, and I think that he's locked in a spot in the 2026 World Cup.
Okay, so let's go back to, you mentioned stats, and I will say this. I will stipulate that you and our Bart Keeler, who is the host of our U.S. soccer show, I know that the two of you are going to have a knockdown drag out over Cristian Roldan. And if I had the two of you on at the same time, and like I said, you bring your information and Bart brings his and thoughts and opinions and stuff. But if I brought the two of you together, it would be like matter and antimatter. It would be like one of those explosions like you had in the promo for Rocky IV, where the two gloves come together. Literally, that's what it would be like. Cristian Roldan, 76 minutes, 2 assists, 2 big chances created, 2 key passes, obviously the 2 assists. Accurate passing, 47 to 53, 89%. Passes in the opposition half, 28 to 34 at 82%. Completed every pass in his own half. Had the one long ball on the day. 2 total shots on the dribble, 63 touches. Fouled 1 time, and then defensively had 2 picks, had a clear, had 4 recoveries, was 2 of 3 on his duels as well, and was called for a foul. So that's the day for Cristian Roldan, who had an 8.5, courtesy of our friends at SofaScore in the matchup in the midweek. So that's everything that he did against Australia. We just laid out in the numbers. That's a lot of different categories, dude. Offensively and defensively.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I mean, right? I mean, when you are able to influence the game in so many aspects and you're as dominant as he was in this particular game, it's all good and well. But I am not going to sit here and tell you that the team in front of you doesn't also have to do with how things play out. I think that obviously Australia is not the top of the crop when it comes to being a national team. And I know that people are going to go there, and as someone who debates a lot, I know that I'd rather bring it up rather than them bring it up, because I understand it. Yeah. I'm not tunnel visioned and just saying, look, Roldan was just unbelievable against any team, right? It was Australia, but that doesn't take away from the credit of what he did and the way he did it right? Duels is a thing that Brian Smetzer here with the Sounders preaches every day. That's the way he was raised, for lack of a better word. I mean, I saw Cristian Roldan grow into the man that he is today. I used to argue with Siggy Smith about this kid is working and training so hard. Why isn't he getting more play time? And now just to see him become this very complete player who, oh, by the way, I do think that has been shafted, unfortunately, because I do believe that he would have been a player that in the European circuits, whether it's the Eredivisie or La Liga, I think that he would have been a very successful player. He just never really got that chance because it's really hard at times to, at his position and being moved around as much as he has throughout his career. He's been a winger, he's been an 8, he's been a 6, he's been all over the field. Sometimes you just don't get those sort of spotlights that maybe get you to move on to a European team, but he just has all the tools in his bag to be successful. And now that with the national team in this particular game, he was so good, I could do nothing but just enjoy it and sit back and tell people, I told you so.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got nanny, nanny, boo, boo, I told you so, thumbs in the ears and the whole bit, right?
Absolutely. And look, I'm also I understand that. Look, Tasman. I mean, that is a behemoth of a man, and the guy looks very good. And I know that you got McKinney, and I know that you got Adams, and I know that you got all these players. But the best thing about Cristian Roldan is that he could be whatever you want him to be. He could be a starter right next to McKinney. He could be a starter right next to Adams. He could be a partner to Testman. I mean, he could just do it all. He could sit in your bench and come in and influence the game after the 65th or 70th or whenever you ask him to get on the field. You're always going to get a team first type of guy. So that seems to me like the Pochettino perfect type of player. I mean, if Pochettino's putting together a player with intangibles and physical fitness and conditioning and soccer IQ, I mean, that's Cristian Roldan.
All right, decision day. Seattle is a part of the early batch at 6:12 Eastern time, and it's against NYCFC. Let me check quickly and see if it's which confined converted baseball stadium it's going to be played at here. Hang on, just
it's at Citi Field.
So home of the New York Mets. Okay, so it's slightly larger, but not all that much. I'd love to know what the regulation size is at Citi Field. With Seattle locked into the 5, you win, you can't touch Minnesota. You lose, Austin can't touch you. You're 4-8-4 on the road, and I know that folks may sit there and go, well, what's it going to look like going into this game against NYC? I mean, have you gotten any indication if this is going to be resting folks? Is it going to be rotated? Is it going to be first choice just to kind of keep everybody in rhythm? What are you looking at here for Seattle in a game that doesn't mean anything in the standings for them except just clocking another 90 minutes and trying to figure out what you're going to look like come the postseason? NYC needs this one more because they're in that mess in the Eastern Conference.
Brian Smetzer is going to put the best starting 11 together for this game. Okay. What does that mean? It means that he's going to look at the metrics of guys that were with their national teams. Obviously, Cristian Roldan is yet to be back, so he's probably not going to start. Maybe you put him on the bench just in case. Georgie Manungu is not back yet. He's another one that very likely would not start, but would be in the bench. So it's going to be on a player-to-player basis, right? Obed Vargas is a guy that put in a huge shift in that U20 World Cup. He was a guy that was consistently in there, a lot of wear and tear, but he is a younger guy. He is a guy that definitely wants to be out there. If it was up to me, I would start JP and Danny Leyva again, although JP wasn't out there yesterday, which I hope everything's okay. My guess is that he was just doing some work indoors. We'll ask about it. But the reality is that as far as I've been able to see so far, Brian is going to put a very strong team together. And there's guys that, especially in the attacking end, you kind of need to put in there. Albert Rusnak was not available for the last game because of a red card, so he needs to be a starter. Pedro de la Vega, you want to keep him hot. You want to make sure that he continues to stay loose, stay ready for that next part of the playoffs. Because let's not forget that you played New York City FC, and there's like about a week, and then you get going with the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So you want to keep a guy like de la Vega going. Same thing goes for Jesus Ferreira. Look, he looks locked in. Yesterday, he could do no wrong in practice. So you want to keep him going, keep him motivated, keep him in line. And then Jordan Morris, a guy that we all know needs a little bit of confidence. He gets that opportunity on the PK. Unfortunately, he gets stopped. So you want to get him going. You want to hope in every way possible that at Citi Field in Queens, he gets a goal. He gets going, right? Because strikers are about a little bit of that fluidity, that confidence. You got to get him going, and he just needs to go bad. And so those are the things that lead me to believe that Brian Smetzer is going to put a very strong lineup. There might be some changes there. I think at the pivots, maybe at fullback, right? Reed Baker-Whiting was there yesterday. We got to talk to him a little bit. Does he start? Nuhu's still not back yet, so he's definitely not going to start. So is it Reed? How do you handle that? Is it going to be Paul Rothrock with a 3-man back line? I think those are the changes that you might see. But when it comes to that attacking 4, I think it's going to be your best attacking 4.
All right, Western Conference, it is different kind of chaos than it is in the Eastern Conference. Right now, the way things are in the West, Vancouver, 63 points, 18 wins. San Diego, 60 points, 18 wins. LAFC, 59 points, 17 wins. Minnesota, 16 wins, 58 points. That's the first group. That's the lead group here in the race. Then Seattle, we talked about Seattle. They're untouchable. They're the 5. Nothing changes. 6 is Austin at 47. Portland is in at 44. Once again, 11 wins. So if there's any kind of tiebreaker, they would be kind of toward the low end of the totem pole here. FCD at 41 points. They're missing folks. RSL, 12 wins, 40 points. Colorado, 11 wins, 40 points. San Jose, 10 wins, 38 points. So if San Jose gets into a tiebreaker somehow with RSL, it would be RSL that would win the tiebreaker and all this kind of stuff. So it's a bunch of different kinds of chaos in the Western Conference at the top and the bottom that everybody in Seattle gets to sit there and just kind of watch, either early with your 6-12s or late with your 9-12 starts, huh?
It's going to be fun, especially who's going to get in, right? I mean, at the beginning of the season, I said that San Jose was going to be in. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but it's going to be fun to see if they could beat St. Louis, if the other scores go their way and they're able to get in. It's one of those decision days in the West where games actually matter. So thankfully for those here in Seattle and the players here, there isn't a lot that they'll be looking for aside from who's going to get in, who's going to get out. The one that is interesting would be if, and only if, LAFC, who obviously stumbled without their stars at Austin, if they don't have a good game and they end up losing some points, and things kind of move in that regard, that's going to be interesting, because if LAFC drops to the 4 and Seattle has to face them first round, that would be difficult, right? That would be probably trial by fire, of course. We talked to a couple of players this week, including Jesus Ferreira and of course Rebecca Whiten, and they're both, they said what you expect a player to say is whoever we get is who we get, right? If you want to get to the finals, you got to play everybody. So it doesn't matter whether we play them now, we play them later. I tend to disagree. I think that it's always easier in the first round to get going, feel the playoffs out, and I think Minnesota is the easier path, the easier game for your first playoff run. But that's an interesting one that I'll be looking at. That's where I'm going. If Colorado is able to play like top Colorado, because they do have those players that if things are going for them, they could be a dangerous team. And Minnesota, who has a very easy game, quote unquote, quote marks, against the LA Galaxy, that would really shift things around and put Seattle in a position where they would have to face LAFC in the first round.
All right, so let's do this 2 separate ways. Let's do this what's going to happen, and then we'll pair it with juice boxes. So this way, this is how we're going to mock up decision day and what happens by the end of it in the Western Conference. So we're going to go winner and juice boxes, 2 separate things here. Okay, so looking at the top of the West right now, Vancouver, 63 points. Vancouver hosts FC Dallas. They're a minus 200 on the board. FCD's a plus 438. First off, what's going to happen?
Give me those numbers again.
Vancouver minus 200, draw plus 361, FCD plus 438. What's the result?
Yeah, I'm not touching that with 10 foot pole. I would go more for the goals, but I think Vancouver wins this one. Right. FC Dallas, unfortunately, won't have Farrington in a very unfair situation, to be quite frank. I think that they do need him. Patar Musa, I don't know if he's 100% necessarily. There are some things that are going on in Dallas that I just don't like the way it's going. And on the opposite end, Vancouver, with the Thomas Mueller factor, has just turned into a whole other team, man. I mean, I was watching that post game with him and Berhalter, and the way he talks about how sometimes he's got to pinch these guys to get going. He has the right idea. He has become this energy amplifier, this talent amplifier. He is so good on the ball. I'm just very high on Vancouver right now. They have all the right vibes, all the right tools. They're hot at the right time. I believe they have 10 games undefeated in all competitions over the last 10 games, of course. I think they're red hot. So I think they win this game.
Okay, so San Diego currently into the weekend is second. Portland at home is a slight underdog at a plus 161. Draws a plus 271. San Diego FC is a plus 145. What is the result in this match? What happens here?
I got San Diego winning, and I have them getting right into this one. I think that as much as Portland has gotten a lot better defensively, and they have managed to really find some results at time, I just don't think that they can deal with the high pressure, the high tempo, the speed on the flanks that this San Diego team has. I think Dreyer and Chucky are going to have a baller of a game in this one, and I think that they win it, and they win it comfortably.
Okay, so now third into the weekend on decision day is LAFC. LAFC, 59 points, 17 wins. LAFC is at Colorado, even money plus 100. Draw plus 289. Colorado, according to our friends in the composite odds portal, a plus 217. What happens in this one? What's the result?
I'm going to throw a wrench your way, my friend.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the draw in this one.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a draw in this one. And we'll talk about how that's going to shape things up here.
I'm doing the math as we go. I'm right there with you, so I'm following along. So hang on. So Colorado is there. Dallas is there. Okay, so fourth coming into the weekend. Minnesota, 58 points. They're the 4 right now. They're at LAG, a slight favorite. And I mean a slight favorite in the composite. Literally could go either way. You look at it, depends on where you go. Some folks are saying LAG, some folks are saying Loons. Basically, at a plus 153 either side. Draws a plus 266. What happens in the match?
Set piece, very low scoring game.
Okay.
Late in the game, Minnesota wins it.
Okay. All right. So that goes there. So that locks in those. All right. So you're locked in at 5. Austin coming into decision day, 47 points, 13 wins. Austin is in one of those swing games where they go to PayPal Park to take on San Jose. San Jose favored at home, minus 116, draws a plus 290. Austin is a plus 264. What happens in the game?
Yeah, I have San Jose winning this one.
Okay.
I have San Jose surprising Austin. I have San Jose kind of giving themselves a chance there at the end.
Ooh, boy, you got me.
And I have this actually as a good, over the 3.5. I think that there's going to be at least 4 goals in this one.
All right, so let's take the check the numbers really quickly and check your goals figure. So, like I said, I'm doing the math as we go here, so we'll lay it all out as we are. 3.5 is a plus 111. 4.5 is a plus 252. So 3.5, you're on the plus side. You're at a plus 111, so it's a little bit of a marker for you. But 4.5 plus 252.
Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere above the 3.5. Yeah.
Okay, so plus 111, you're there. All right, so now coming into decision day, RSL is the 9 at 40 points and 12 wins. RSL at all caps. They are a slight underdog in St. Louis at a plus 161, draw plus 286, all caps a plus 135. What happens in the game?
I have San Luis winning that game. I have them spoiling the party. I have them kind of pressing and exposing a little bit of RSL's inability to score. I think that they depend a lot on what Diego Luna does. I know they're going to have, Gozo back. but I think that San Luis is going to find a way with a lot of energy, intensity, pull that game off. It's going to be close, but I got San Luis pulling it off.
So here is, and this is where you have to make sure that this goes into the time capsule. This is your breakdown of the Western Conference after Decision Day. Vancouver at 66 points. They're the top seed. San Diego at 63. Minnesota at 61. They go from the 4 to the 3. LAFC is the 4 at 60 points. Seattle at 52. Remember, they're locked in. Nothing can happen one way or the other. Austin is 6 at 47. Portland is 7 at 44. With RSL and your loss, they're at 40 points. They have the least amount of points of the 4 remaining teams. They're out. 41 points, 3 teams at 41. Dallas with 10 wins and 41 points. They're out. Colorado and San Jose are the only 2 left on the board, both at 41 points, both at 11 wins. So you have the current 10 and 11, making it as the 8 and the 9 on Decision Day. Colorado has the worst goal difference of the 2 unless they fix a -8 going up head-to-head against San Jose. So you've got San Jose as the 8 and Colorado as the 9 on Decision Day. So your play-in game is Colorado, San Jose for the right to play Vancouver. Vancouver, San Diego, Minnesota, LAFC, Seattle, Austin, Portland, San Jose, and Colorado. That's your rundown for the 8 and the 9 in the Western Conference. So
Tell me that doesn't sound crazy.
Well,
Tell me that doesn't sound like some MLS type of stuff. Sometimes with MLS, you got to go a little crazy. And that's, I put in the numbers. I try to figure out the best matchups, but I always leave room for a curveball.
yeah.
And that's kind of what I came up with, man.
That was a hanger. I mean, literally, that's a hanger in Coors Field in Denver with that one, because you have, the way that you have it laid out, you have the Farrington absence being vital for Dallas, RSL not getting a result, Colorado and San Jose getting results and jumping Dallas and RSL, and the 11th win for San Jose gets them in. Colorado already with 11, but the goal difference is what's going to kill them. So the 8-9 would be Colorado at San Jose. RSL is out. Dallas is out on first tiebreaker number of wins in the season. So that's how you have it laid out in the West. Nothing like a little chaos, huh?
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I think that sometimes you need a little bit of that chaos, and I'm sticking to it, baby. I'm gonna lock it in.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes, right? Again, that's the great thing about a lot of what we do is that sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. But it's all about just kind of giving a educated guess depending on kind of what you see there.
Okay, so now since you've already set us up with that one, let's go to the other conference and see if you've done your math here. And the math in the East specifically is tied to a couple of groups. And I'm writing down so that way I can do my math as we go. We know who's in, we just don't know the order. The chaos of getting in the West and the chaos of the top 4 in the West does not apply to getting in the East. Everybody's in, we just don't know the where except in a couple of spots. So going into the weekend, give
me 1 second. I gotta close this. Right here. 1 second.
Do your thing. Close your thing. It's all right. Perfectly fine. So Nico is going to be closing documents and things, and he's got his math here, and so we're going to math along.
I had a glare that was killing me there.
It's all right. So, all right. So 53, 52, 51. Okay. So here is the East heading into Decision Day. Philadelphia, they're locked in. We know that they're the one. They're at 66. Cincinnati and Messi and friends are at 62. And Messi and friends, they can't win. They can't win the tiebreaker if they're even on points because they have one less win than Cincinnati. Cincinnati's at 19. Messi and friends are at 18. Charlotte's at 56. They have one more win than NYC. NYC, once again, same number of points, would lose the tiebreaker with Charlotte. Nashville's at 54 and 16 wins. Orlando's 53 and 14 wins. That would knock them down in any kind of a tiebreaker situation. Chicago is 8th at 15 wins and 52 points. Columbus, 51 points, 13 wins. So Seeing that as the numbers heading into decision day, we'll leave Philly alone because it doesn't really matter. They're at Charlotte, but it means something to Charlotte. So
Mhm.
Charlotte at home favored at a plus 147 in a game that means nothing for Philadelphia at a plus 156. What happens in that one for Charlotte?
Yeah, I got Charlotte winning that game. I do think that I don't know if Cornell's going to completely rotate, but I don't see him putting as much stock into this game. I think that he sees the big picture, listening to him talk about the way he kind of arranged this and the way that organically became a thing for him to get that supporter shield makes me think that he has an objective and one objective only. And it's not necessarily just going out there and adding another game or adding more minutes to a lot of his players. I do think that there's going to be a modified team. And I think that Charlotte wants it. And I think that there's a lot of things about Charlotte that are interesting in the way they attack, in the way they push the ball. I think that they're going to be able to really limit a lot of the things that Philadelphia does. So I like Charlotte in this one.
Okay, so we know what the point boost is there. Cincinnati has Montreal at home at TQL. Cincinnati a minus 185, draws a plus 359. CF Montreal's a plus 388. What's the result of the match?
Yeah, I think this is a Cincinnati win. I don't know if you have the goals on you. I'm kind of curious what the goal compost looks like.
All right, so hang on. Let me click on it, and I will let you know. The totals for Cincinnati and CF Montreal. 3.5 is where it turns at a plus 107. 4.5 is a plus 240. Same situation as we had earlier. You're slightly in the plus side, not quite the plus 111. But you're at plus 107 at 3.5, and that's where it turns from minus to plus.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I really don't want to mess with that one, especially because Cincinnati can be a very sporadic team at times, and I just don't know if they'll put it together. So let's just leave it at Cincinnati on that one.
Okay, so then third, Messi and friends. They are in Nashville. They're a dog at a plus 170. I don't know why they're a dog at Nashville, but Nashville's a plus 129. You figure all of the Gulfstream Galacticos will be in form. You figure they'll all be in the lineup for the last dance here. Draws a plus 284. What happens with Messi and friends at Nashville?
Oh man, that's a tough one for me because look, Messi put in an absolute clinic on Atlanta for sure. I think he stayed and made it count by him staying. And I understand what he means to this team and the way he makes them run. But I don't know why I have this feeling that Nashville is just not done quite yet. And yeah, this is at Nashville, right?
Yeah, it's at Nashville. It's at Geodis.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Nashville. I have a feeling about it. I think that they're gonna real hard time just dealing with Sam Surridge. I think that he's gonna have a baller of a game. Mukhtar is a guy that if you don't find him in the half spaces, he's gonna get absolutely loose. You let him get comfortable, and all those things are unfortunately for Miami, something that they just can't do. It's not that they don't want to do it. It's just that they just don't have the tools to do it. So for me, I think BJ Callahan is going to put something together where they're going to carve through this inner Miami defense like a knife through a nice turkey dinner. I really do think that is going to be a Nashville game.
All right, so purple team's in Toronto at a minus 110. Toronto FC is basically a plus 250. Draws a plus 290. What do you think happens there?
I think Orlando gets a get right game. They need it that way. I thought that the Vancouver game got unfortunate that at the end. Obviously, is on their own terms. They were unable to finish when they should have. I think they get far too deep at the end of that game. Vancouver just completely puts them against the ropes, and they're able to win that game. Anytime that you don't close down on mid-range shots, anytime that you don't have really true active defending against a team like Vancouver, you're going to be in problems. But Toronto's not the same. Toronto, as much as they've been a little bit better, I just don't think they have the tools. I think Orlando wins this one in a get-right game.
All right, so then Chicago is your 8. Chicago is at the Revs at a plus 125. Draws a plus 283, and the Revs at home a plus 177.
Oh, this was a tough one for me because initially I had it as a draw, but I think that Chicago looking at all things and what New England has struggled with. Campana, he played some minutes there for Ecuador, but not many. But I just like Chicago better. I think that Chicago um, is the better collective unit, and I think that Greg Berhalter is going to have these guys ready to go. So I actually like Chicago.
Okay, and then the last one, the 9 seed right now, Crew hosting Red Bulls, massive favorite, a -175. Red Bulls +4.25. Is this one Crew's for 3 points?
Absolutely, 4.25 is crazy, by the way. But yes, I think that Columbus definitely takes this one for sure. What's the compos on the goals? They're just for curiosity purposes.
Crew and Red Bulls, looking at the totals. So over under 2.5 a -191, 3.5 is a +126, 4.5 is a +289.
Man, they're being stingy on the goals. Yeah, no, I'm out on that one, but it will be interesting how that one plays out. Columbus has been unfortunate, right? Their DP striker gets hurt. He was the one guy they gave them that finisher up top. I think that they've had a lot of issues with just their own way of play, and they've put themselves in some really bad positions. I think that defensively they haven't been great. So yeah, no, that's a difficult one. I think Colorado wins just because the Red Bulls just have been so poor there to close the season. But yeah, I'll take Columbus.
So then your Eastern Conference, nothing changes. You have Philadelphia at 66, Cincinnati at 65, Messi and Friends at 62, Charlotte at 59 and 18 wins, NYC at 59 and 17 wins, Nashville at 57 points, Orlando at 56, Chicago 55, Columbus 54. So a lot of the teams in the Eastern Conference faced with their big matchups, they get wins, which means nothing changes in your dynamic when it comes to the Eastern Conference. We have your predictions and we have your rundown right here. It's on the piece of paper. And we're going to hang on to this for 7 days to see how completely accurate you were. And actually, we only get to hang on to it for like 2 or 3 days because the 8-9s kick in pretty quick. So here's the rundown. Here it is. And like I said, let me get it out of the shine. So it's all here and written down. So this is what Nico Damas has put together when it comes to the activity on decision day. So how are you spending the rest of your week? I know it starts at the Providence and Swedish transmission repair and ice cream sundae special location. What's going on up there?
That's right. I'm going to obviously go down to the training facility. The team's having a short training and travel to New York, of course. Lots to look at today. We're going to obviously record what we learned this week. Really suggest you guys watch it if you guys want to know how Seattle's going to put it together, what it might look like in New York City. We're going to have it all today. Kim Ki-hee is still dealing with that mass in his leg. It sounds like it's not cancerous. Whenever I hear the word mass, I had to ask. It sounds like it's not anything like that, or blood cloth or anything like that. It doesn't sound like his health is going to be at any sort of risk away from the pitch. Yemer Gomez-Andrade came back to at least train partially with the group, but won't be available. Ryan Kent came back, partial training, but won't be available for this one. But Seattle's starting to get some guys back. So my plan for the rest of the day, rest of the week, is go down to the facility today, get a really good podcast going, cooking with Jeremiah O'Shan and maybe Tim Foss, my other colleague at Sounder of Heart. Then, of course, we're going to do something for Decision Day. Likely with Lobbin Scorchers. So stay tuned on that. I'm not 100% yet. I'm trying to figure out the wifey thing. I gotta check in the calendar, but I might be doing some things with them there for Decision Day. And then of course on Monday we're gonna have the breakdown of everything that happened and whether or not I look like a dummy or I look brilliant after all these predictions on Monday with Ari Lillenwall on Lobbin Scorchers kickoff.
All right. So as promised, we've got everything written down. We're gonna hang on to it. We'll go through the 8 and the 9. We'll get everything squared away, all the wild card stuff, and we'll catch back up with you same time next week. Get ready for the playoffs and all the things. As always, my friend, great to see you. Good to see the lid as you rep everything going on up there in the Palouse, and we will catch up with you soon. Love you very much. We'll catch up with you next week.
Take it easy, John.